Hi guys, my name is Claire and today I'm talking about that time I really burnt out, so please stick around. Hi friends, my name is Claire and this is my channel, Woodshed Theory. I make videos about what it is like to live as an adult on the autism spectrum and whatever else feels good to me. So if that sounds good to you, or if you're feeling very gracious today, I would really appreciate it if you could click the subscribe button. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so we're on our way. I really appreciate it. Did I mention I make content 3 times a week? 3. That's a lot. So today I wanted to talk about my burnout break, which I have come to refer to as my quarantine sabbatical. I have wanted to talk about this since forever, but at first it really scared me because I don't know how people would respond to it. I was officially diagnosed with ASD, I believe, in late 2019. At the time, I was in a pretty successful sales role full-time, and I was really pushing it and trying my best. Just killing it, people. I was killing it. By this time, however, the time of my diagnosis, the weight of masking had already started to take its toll on me. In my first few years at my job, I had hit the ground running. I was doing whatever I could do to be successful. By the time of my diagnosis, I was no longer really processing or progressing in my job, and while I feel like I was still doing a good job, I wasn't killing it like I was at the beginning. I was dealing with some pretty severe anxiety around my job, as it had to do with people and social interactions and, well, getting those social interactions right in order to make the sale. I was able to keep it up for a few years. What I should say is keep it up well enough in order to be at work, but then at home I was really going through a lot of mental illness symptoms. Mind you, during this time, I had also started treatment and therapy for my OCD diagnosis and was really trying to work hard on my personal life. It was a lot going on for me. Eventually, I stopped being able to be so aggressive in my work because I was really hanging on by my fingertips as far as burnout went. By the time we went into lockdown in November, I was grateful to be able to work from home as I was struggling to hold it together. I knew I needed a break even before the ASD diagnosis, but by the time I got the diagnosis, I really knew I needed a break. But I decided, because of the circumstances that I was in, that what I really needed to do was keep pushing and keep working. After all, if I could push through, perhaps success was on the other side of that push. I mean, at least that is what I believed at the time, as I thought I was neurotypical, and that seemed to be how neurotypical folks functioned. So anyway, for the last few months of my job before I was furloughed due to the pandemic, my mentality was, let's just see how long I can hold on. I just need to keep pushing. And then I got furloughed. And at the time, it was really hard for me to swallow because I really loved my job and I really liked the team I was working with, as we had grown close together over the years while I was working there. But in retrospect, it really needed to happen for me to start healing from all of the things I had been going through since finding out about the OCD and the diagnosis of depression and anxiety and ASD and being able to deal with all of it. My body just needed a reset. More like my life needed a rescope. So here is the hard part for me to talk about. I took a break. I dropped out of normal society. I went into what I could refer to as a healing hibernation. And parts of me feel and felt guilty about it because I do feel obligated to help contribute in my family. Also, I felt guilty because it was such a difficult time for the country and the world, with many people unable to work or out of work because of the pandemic. And, you know, people were and are really suffering. So if I wasn't working, that meant I was taking my ability to work for granted, perhaps. And I had saved enough to make a break possible. I was worried about the concept of privilege and how others would view my situation. I didn't want people to think I was ungrateful or, you know, solely living off of government aid or my husband or whatever. I mean, people just have, when you're not working, I feel that people have opinions. And maybe that's just me and people don't care. But for me, I don't know, I just felt that weight of I should be working. If I'm not working, then I am failing. And that is not to say that, you know, maybe people who are receiving government aid or people who are living off of, you know, the money that their partner or spouse makes are bad people. This is just how I personally felt. Like, internally, I felt that I was failing myself and my family. Basically, I knew that not everyone could take time off when they were going through burnout like me, and I didn't want to make it seem that I didn't know how blessed I was to be able to pump the brakes, because believe me, I do know that it was a huge blessing for me to be able to do that. It was a nervous time for me. I was nervous and I felt like I needed to test the waters and get back to it after a few months of taking a break. So in October, I got a job offer from a sweet friend of mine, and I started the job, and I quit after 3 days. This was super embarrassing for me. I haven't really ever taken a job and then immediately left. Obviously, I was concerned for my friendship because in this case, she had, you know, stuck her neck out for me and I had utterly failed. So it was embarrassing in that way. But what taking that short-term job did do for me is really solidify for me that I was burnt out and that I needed a break. A full-on stop, a life reset, a reevaluation of everything that I was doing. I let go of my previous ideas of what my life should look like, and I really evaluated what my life needed and what changes were needed to make my personal, physical, and mental health better. And once again, this is difficult for me to talk about because I know that not everyone can do what I did and still survive. Got bills to pay. I get it, you know, I totally get it. Some people who experience burnout don't have the option of taking some time off to recover for various reasons. So I just want to be clear that first, I was really unable to do any work at that time. And second, I was blessed enough to have saved to make the break possible. And third, I'm still getting over burnout. I'm still going through it in a much healthier way than I ever have before, and I feel a lot better, but I'm sure I'm gonna get there, but I'm not there yet. However, I am so grateful. I've gotten to the place where I have acknowledged that I needed a break. I had been working on borrowed time for about a year. The mask had really started slipping at work and at home, and I just could not hold it up anymore. It was really hard for me to accept that this is what needed to happen because in life in general, I haven't allowed myself to leave things or quit things or put things to rest because I like proving that I can be successful in my endeavors. And not working a traditional job, not contributing to my family at that time was hard for me to wrap my brain around. One of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is because I know that this is not uncommon for people on the spectrum to go through who have full-time jobs or maybe are in different academic programs where they just hit a wall and keep pushing through. And I know that the people watching who've been through this understand the kind of shame and guilt that you feel when you realize that you're not well enough, you're not in the right headspace to hold down a full-time job and work in corporate America. And I just wanted to kind of tell my story because I know that hearing other people's stories helps me. And I have been able to, now that I'm on the other side of it, I started my own LLC, I've been making content, I'm building a new future for myself. I feel extremely grateful, and I am so happy that things worked out the way that they did. I loved my last job, and it was a really good thing for that period of my life. But it's okay to close a chapter and start a new chapter. And this is my chapter of acknowledging and living in the fact that I'm ASD and OCD and that I have an anxiety disorder, and rebuilding my life in a way that makes me happy and healthy and less stressed and more successful personally. That has just been great. I really have taken the time to work on myself and heal. I have really taken the time to reevaluate and learn what the best version of life could look like for someone in my situation. When I got furloughed and then decided to kind of drop out of the normal definition of a job and try to make something on my own, I was terrified. If you've ever watched my first video, I could barely speak. I was so afraid to branch out in that direction. But it has been so wonderful and rewarding for me. I had started my own YouTube channel. I started my new career in content creation. Is it paying the bills yet? No, please subscribe. But I'm finally able to be happy and content in a less stressful existence. I feel more myself again. I am learning about myself and giving myself some grace. I love and am so grateful that I had some time to reset and rebuild something sustainable for myself. So I guess the point of this video today is, if you need to take a break and you can take a break, that's legitimate. That's reason enough. You don't need to feel bad for it. And though it might be really scary and stressful and crazy in the beginning, and it might seem like, what am I doing? Where am I going? Sometimes you just need to take a pause, especially if you're ASD. Yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope that I got my point across okay and that this was helpful for someone. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and ask them down below. I'd love to talk to you about it. And I hope that you have a great Monday, and I will see you on Wednesday. Bye, guys.